I remember when I was younger, I always was fascinated by the idea of driving at high speeds at night, and basically pushing the limit of how cars were handled. As a person that do love cars, I really enjoy the idea of drifting. Just the art of drifting is really fascinating. Having to brake and control your car at the same time is pretty awesome to see. Drifting legends like Ken Block, who basically set the gold standard for this. So naturally, I would be inclined to check out a game that does such thing, drifting. Initial Drift is an arcade racer that prioritizes drifting rather than a lot of speed you will see in other racers today. This game seems to take a heavy inspiration from the famous anime Initial D. It even have a look-alike Toyota AE86 from the anime. Initial Drift takes that retro nighttime driving aesthetic and turns it into an amazing, fun experience that I had the pleasure in playing. But where are my manners? I haven't even explained the game yet. Let's take it back to the beginning. When you start the game for the very first time, you should be greeted with a tutorial for how to play the game. If you are an experienced racing gamer, then you probably expect the simple press and hold the triggers to drift and whatnot. But that is not the case here. You're greeted by someone named Gunner, and he greets you and explains that you have what's called a drift stick. That is going to be your joysticks to directly control your car with the drift angle. The next thing that happens to you next is you're just driving. And I just want to comment on the art style while we are at this point. Eternal's Drift art style is a retro futuristic style that I have never seen before. With blue, pink, really just a sunset vibe overall to it. Everything looks polished and clean, and it kind of presents this sort of new and old aesthetic to it that's very unique to this game's identity. It's not trying to be something it's not, and I really appreciate that because it's a dream for people that want a aesthetic to accompany the awesome drifting you're going to do on the track. Speaking of drifting, how is the drifting mechanics of this game? Well, it's actually pretty simple. You have your usual trigger to go or brake, but the main gimmick of this game is to just have that drift stick I talked about before, and that would be your right joystick. In this game, it's not required for you to brake at all, and you could go the whole game without doing it. Here's the kicker. There are many cars in this game that have different drifting types. Some have a stiff drift that requires you to at least slow down or let go of your throttle really quick, then back on. Others have a looser drift where you don't have to slow down for it. Some might be top speed demons that needs to slow down. Others might be low speed demons that doesn't need to be slowed down. Drift does a great job at forcing you to play all the cars so that you don't stick to only one drifting style the whole entire game, and to try all of them. It's just something about going down the mountains in your car aiming at absolute precision on every corner while your tire is burning rubber and you hear wind gust over you while you're doing all of those actions into one thing. Initial Drift does an amazing job immersing you into their universe. Now let's talk about the story mode, and well, it's not that bad. It's nothing to write home about. You have the background of the map and the characters standing around with the dialogue and their own struggles and strengths that they express. I personally think it's the weakest part of the game, but it's primarily focused on driving, so I don't give it too much time of my day. But the story mode introduces modes like Time Attack, where you just have to beat the time. Ghost Battle, where you just beat the time again, except you have to beat the ghost. Duel is just beating a opponent for how far someone is. Endurance, which is a proper time attack having to go as fast as you can while you are collecting time. Race, it's kinda obvious. And Style, chaining and comboing your drifting. Since we are talking about game stuff, let's go over the maps. Okay, so I'm actually just going to cut this part of the video. I spent 3 minutes just talking about the maps, and I figured like from this point people probably already left the video, So yeah, so maybe I might post this little 3 minute part as a little deleted scene or whatever, but I'm just gonna cut it out because I feel like it's too boring. So yeah, so I'm gonna just leave you with one part of it and edge you for the rest of it. And Mountain Criano and Criano Forest, that's just. In conclusion, Eternal Drift really is a masterpiece of a game that I seen nobody's really talking about this art of a game. It's actually kind of shocking how a game like this go under the radar, but that's kind of why I made this video. Back to my original point of being younger and seeing cool cars having drift contents at night on YouTube, it's kind of awesome that a childhood dream of mine was revived because of this small game. And I want to thank the developers for making this game. And I thank you for watching this video. Thank you.